everyone. Nice to be here. Welcome to the first episode of Friendship and Community. And I honestly just want to thank God for the last season, my silent season. We got too many testimonies, and I know I've said this over and over and over again. And we are glad that we are going into a new season of friendship and community. And for the past few months, I have been working behind the scenes to ensure that we have the right group of people, the right guests on the show, and I'm super excited to have the guys that I have here with me. It is a blessing that they are the first set of friends and community that will be hosting on the show. Not to show any form of see finish, but I've literally known these people for I don't remember, but over 7 years now, and
10.
over 10 years.
Yeah, that old.
Yes, yeah, actually over 10 years. Over 10 years now, and I'm grateful that I'm part of that community. But however, they have a very close knit friendship community that I'm not part of yet. I feel like I need to write
It's a yes.
fill a form. I need to fill a form to be part of that list.
And
But-
there's some openings.
You can really hear them. But yes, they are fun to be with. They're really amazing people individually and collectively. And I'm excited to be doing this. Low-key, I think I'm dancing in my head that we're eventually doing this. I have I have a video of God, thank you that we are here. Because it took over 1 year. Yes, almost a year for us to be here. But
Ella had to call us out.
let me be done with my intro. But guys, this is a good thing that we are here. So I don't waste your time anymore. Let me introduce the amazing sisters. But representing these sisters are Ellen and Sabina.
Okay.
So we'll start from there.
All right. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. Nice to finally be on Ella's YouTube channel /show/conversations with Ella, and to be part of those starting this particular season on friendship and community. My name is Ellen. I'm a development communications professional. I'm a godmother to my friends' babies. I'm an aunt. I'm a chop life queen. Most importantly, I think I'm really happy to be here today because if there's one thing I think I in particular have been blessed with is great friendships. So I am deeply grateful to be able to, this is for me, it's like testimony sharing with you on some of my biggest blessings in life, which has been the friends that I've had the honor of doing life with. So looking forward to this conversation. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Sabina and I'm excited to be here today. I work as a management consultant and I'm a mom, sister, friend, and lots of nice things, including being a foodie. Being here, I think it's important that we're having these conversations because I think that one of the areas that we never really navigate in life is, how to make great friends and how to have the right set of people around you. And so I'm glad that, we're having this conversation and Ella has finally picked me to be part of her
Wow.
selected few.
Wow. Interesting.
I like how we don't get. Ella, this is more about you not picking us than us not showing up.
Wow. A lot has happened. Let's just end it there.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much for accepting to be here. I feel honored. I don't even know where I saw it, but I saw something somewhere where people want to make friends with really big, prominent people. But you don't know that the guys that you're rolling with are going to become big and prominent someday. So, my prominent friends, I'm so glad to be in your midst.
Oh no, we're glad to be in Sabina. Top management consultant. Wow.
Travels out of the country half of the time.
Yo, please let's
Why are you like this? But yes, You're actually quite right. I think one thing I'm truly grateful for lately is when I look at my friends that we have been friends for years and I see them in their capacities. Like when I see Sabina working, I'm like, this is Sabina. 100 level Sabina is the one doing have subordinates. Oh, please do this. I'm like, I don't understand. Why, how, Or I'm hearing some important work that my friends are up to, or some things they've created, and I'm like, this guy. But it's how you have so many emotions. It's like one, you're like, I know this person is doing this, and there's even so much more ahead of them. There's also the part where you're excited because you're like, I know how good this person is, so it's good to see this person be recognized for the great work they do. But then there's also the how? How? You understand? How is anybody taking you serious? Have you seen this person? This person that cannot eat other people's eggs. Do you understand? How is that person the person telling people what to do?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That was shade at me.
Yes. But it's just so fun to see Sabina being all of that she is, and Demi and Wendy and Romy and Titi of blessed memory. Just seeing them navigate life and do so well, it's amazing. Yeah.
So, what would you say would be your own definition of friendship and community? Or community? What do you think? If you were going to define it.
Sabina is the management consultant. She said,
I knew I was going to get to you.
For me, friendship is a community that helps build you and helps make you strong. And I'll say that where I learned that from was in my 200 level. I listened to this sermon, and it sort of inspired me to really pray about my friends. I don't think I did not become friends with Ellen or Demi or Wendy or Titi or Romy, out of my conscious effort. It was birthed from a place of God. I want to know who my true friends are, and please lead me to my true friends. And I just noticed a difference in, how I started to live my life and, the people that I was associating with. And somehow I became close to these set of friends. And that has sort of played a very key and important role, in every aspect of my life, whether it's spiritual, emotional, or even physical. So I say that friendships for me is really just a community that helps build and keeps you stronger, right? And it's there for you in good, bad times, not afraid to tell you that you're doing wrong, able to call you out, able to banter, that stuff. So I think that it's just really a community that holds you.
I like that. Helps hold your helps you grow and keeps you stronger. Interesting. I think you're able to add.
Yes, there's definitely something I wanted to add there, which was in December I went for this spoken word concert thing, and the theme was on friendship, and there was something she said where she said, if the savior of the world in his assignment on earth chose friends to walk with him, it should show us the importance of friendship. And I think that's for me what friendship is. It's like this, yes, this it's like having this group of people who are walking through life with you. And I like what Sabina said, where she said how she said noticing her life changed based on the people around her. I think it was very important to me too in that uni 100 level when I'm starting to define the kind of person I want to be, to have the right people with the right set of values, or at least the right set of motivations to work with. So it's so nice to see that our friendships were built around shared interests. It was never a thing to ask. It was like we both wanted to be this kind of people, people who showed up early for events, people who put in work into their academics, people who were curious about God enough to want to do what it is to get to know God, to be with Jesus, to become like Jesus, to do what Jesus does. And I found that there was this community of people who we were doing this together. And at the same time, like Sabina said, we're the ones who want to look for the nicest foods to eat, they at the cheapest rate. And we all had that curious, adventurous, want to try things. We are not scared to dare to do things. So at the end of the day, it was like, or for me, it comes down to friendship has been finding a set of people with shared values and common interests who you are willing to do life with. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. See, you know, I want to say something, but let's keep it sane first.
Wow.
We're getting to the point where we banter. So how did yours start? I know that you're a group of 5, 6 friends. I say 5, 6 because you understand, right? How did it start?
Okay. So in 100 level, I was friends with, somebody else, just one person. And then in 200 level, it transitioned. For me, the way it started was, again, I said I prayed. And I was going through a period in my life where I was getting closer to God. And I was just reading little books and doing different things. And somehow, I think in those periods, I was alone actually. So I went through a period of separation, through my prayer, right? And somehow I would go to chapel, I would meet Ellen, and it just became a thing where we would constantly see ourselves in the same places. I wasn't afraid to go to Cafe 2 alone. So I love food. And there was the better part of there was the better part of Cafe 2 that had nice food. So I was happy to take the walk, from the hall to Cafe 2 on my own on Saturday, Sunday, whenever it was, just to go and eat Cafe 2 food, because I loved food. I like trying out new restaurants even. So that's like a thing for me. So I think for me, it was in that period that myself and Ellen started to get closer, and we started to realize that, we had similar interests. So whether it was with building our relationship with God or, just wanting to be the best, at what you do at school. So studying, and I think we started learning mind mapping or something like that.
Yes, mind mapping. Oh my God, we did mind mapping together.
Yes. And
true.
But Ellen was also friends with Demi and Romy. I think Romy was your roommate.
Yeah.
Then Demi had been Ellen's friend from 100 level. So somehow we just all find ourselves. I think I'll go to Ellen's room, and then somehow we found ourselves being together. Then Titi and Wendy were friends. And somehow, I don't know how, it just happened and we all became close.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that, sort of really birthed the friendship was when we went out for Titi's cousin's wedding one Saturday. So we all planned that and came back, and I think we then started to realize that, plan to do things. And we had similar goals. So it was like it became more or less, we became our counselors. Because we'll then be thinking about, okay, I want to live a better life, I want to be closer to God, and we'll ask ourselves these questions. We'll literally sit in proper meetings and ask ourselves, we want to be this. What are the things we need to do today to help us get there?
How do you know? This is so funny. I'm smiling so hard because this is one of my favorite stories about my life, right?
Yeah.
And to hear it from someone else who is a part of that story, there's just so many good feelings because it's also bringing up a lot of nostalgia. This thing she said about meetings, when you said it, that picture where we had a board meeting, and we were saying that no, this is a board meeting about our lives, and we literally sat down. We left the hostel dressed up and said we're going to sit down at a table and have a board meeting about our lives. We're in 200 level, and we all sat down, and it was like a serious. Okay, so this is a serious meeting. Okay, you talk. What do you want? What are your goals? And so she's saying this now. It's funny, but I'm like, oh my God, these are actually things that we did. And then it wasn't even a joke. We took this thing seriously and it made sense to us. It made sense to six of us that a board meeting wearing actual important clothes is an important thing to do.
Makes sense.
When you want to talk about your life.
Listening to it, I'm like, how did we even think about this? Because we're really young.
Yeah.
So how did we think about, actually sitting, like to the point that we're planning trips, although we never had that trip. I think we were saying we wanted to go to Abeokuta or something,
Yeah.
to Olumo Rock or something like that. So, but we never had that trip. But regardless, like we really did plan, even down to our meals. Okay, we all want to live a healthy lifestyle. Do we eat turkey? What don't we eat? Like it was very detailed, and everybody had to sort of, okay, what do you need to make sure that at least we're all graduating with a 2-1, right? How do we ensure that we maintain our GPs? How do we ensure that this is, we're able to live this lifestyle and we're an example to down to making decisions always
But
sitting
I
front
remember when
in
we used to go
chapel.
running.
Yes, we used to go
We
running
used
in
to
the
wake up
morning.
very early, 5 a.m.
And we
Well,
go
out of our go running all the way to the gate and back. and we are doing workouts in front of the hall. And yeah.
And I think even we sort of motivated each other to be better people. We had a reading club where we would decide on topics for the entire semester, and each person had the responsibility of researching
Sabina,
those
your memory
topics.
is so blessed.
Researching those topics,
And
and then you come to talk to other people. And I think our goal with that one was to sort of prepare ourselves for the outside world. I think this happened much
later. This was like 300, 400
yes.
level.
300 actually, 300
Yes.
level. So we're like, we're getting to 400 level very soon. We need to start preparing. So I think the consciousness of that group sort of made each and every one of us, what we are today. Because when I look at each of our lives, I can't say that any one of us is struggling with life. Like it seems like we may not be where we want to be, but we're all at very comfortable spaces. Like I have friends that, don't have to rely on me. I mean, we're independent yet,
Interdependent
yeah,
in that sense.
exactly in that sense, but not, sort of like, oh, if I don't have Sabina in my life, I'm not going to live, or if I don't, we can breathe without each other. But yet there's just this bond between us that helps us stay strong. And we've talked about so many plans that, till today, I think Ellen will come and say, Sabina, when I'm not going to say what it is, but Sabina, remember in final year, you were really gingered about this.
I'll call you after.
Why have you not done it? And I say, oh, yeah, this is where it is in my plan. It hasn't gone off.
Yeah.
But I mean, life happens, so we navigate life in that sense.
I really like this, right? Because more than anything, what I've enjoyed about hearing this from you is I feel like you've been a witness to my life as I've been a witness to your life. So that which must not be named is one of those things where I feel like I have witnessed this. So I know that this is important to you.
Yeah.
So as a witness, it's part of my job to say, oh, where are we with this thing, right? And the same thing with you to me. They are parts of our lives that we have talked about, things that we have promised our future selves that we're going to do. And it feels like friendship is having a bunch of witnesses to your life who are both witnessing the things you say you would do, who are witnessing the things that you have done, and who are even witnessing the change in your life. So it's so beautiful to have someone else be able to tell your story and tell it so well with the details that I haven't thought about some of these things in years. Hearing Sabina say this, I'm like, oh no, this is it's not all coming back, and I'm like, somebody else holds my life in her head. That is important to friendship. That's it. It's like parts of me. So I say this to my friends all the time. When I write them, or on their birthdays, I say part of me is you always. And this is a manifestation of it, that there is a part of me that exists in the time that we have shared together. Therefore, you hold that part as much as I hold that part. So that is how we are parts of ourselves. And there's something I was going to add to this, which was going to be, in this friendship, we're also very different people. all 6 of us are the most different people you can ever think about.
Actually,
And I
agree.
think that was one of the beauty of it, that we were never trying to change people. We always played to people's strengths. I remember then, Sabina and I were the early birds. When we started at first trying to walk to places together, we're like, no, this is never going to work. Because Sabina and I, we get ready on time, we're ready, and then we have to wait for people. We're like, no, it's not going to work. So I remember then Sabina and I would be like, the only person I could wait for in uni was Sabina. Because I know that I'm not going to wait. Like if me and Sabina say we're going to be up at 6, we're going to both be up at 6. But the remaining, oh God.
You would wait.
You will wait. So after like the first, like how many times of trying, we're like, no. Sabina and I were like, we'll go ahead. The good thing is we'll keep seats for you guys. So whenever we eventually make it, your seats are here, It was same thing with CAF. Sabina and I had like more synced, but the thing was that they were also all very different for all of them.
Yeah.
But it was a friendship that worked because we didn't try to change each other. We just played to each other's strengths. Yeah, we knew who, if they are fighting, if there's a disagreement, we know who to call.
Exactly.
If there's this, we know who. If there's some people that are like, this one will never apologize. So you need to give this person time. So that their apology, you need to recognize it in when they come and give you a snack or something. And then you're like, okay, this is this person's highest form of apology.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful to actually see that these very different people from totally different backgrounds with different orientations could find a way to be
Make
friends.
something work.
Yeah.
So what was very interesting, one of the things that I've taken out from most of the things that you said is the foundation. I like that you had, I don't know how to put it, you created some level of, some solid foundation to your friendship. You're talking about having board meetings for your individual lives and collective as well. Talking about putting things in place, healthy lifestyle. I'm not saying that I didn't think of healthy lifestyle, but I'm not sure Uju and Temi and I thought of any of those things when we're in school, right? But it actually just speaks to the values that you try to bring in at the early stages of your friendship. And I'm just putting it out there, right? The foundation is very important. But we've had the sweet, interesting part, right? I just wanted to ask again, have you dealt with hard and uncomfortable times, right? Individually and collectively, have you dealt with hard and difficult times?
We've had interesting times. We've had very interesting times. Very interesting times. But I think maybe one thing I'll say is that there was never a time when it was all of us against each other, right? It would usually be one person who needs extra loving. That's just how I'll put it.
Yeah.
One person who needs extra loving. And then all of us reminding ourselves that this person is not the enemy.
Yeah.
This person just needs extra love at this time. So there's a work of, we need to have extra forgiveness. We need to be patient. We need to, the person is irrational, but right now, we are going to wait for you to walk your way back, right? But while that is happening, we're here. So we haven't had the best of times. We've had times when one of our friends decides to cut off for everybody. And then we're all like, what's going on? And then when people do things that you can't find answers to, your reaction usually ego sets in and you want to be like, well then you're on your own. You're not going to come back. But I remember then, and maybe we're conscious about it, or maybe it was the foundation of Christ and our walk with God and us. I remember then our response to this person's or anybody going through this would be extra love. Would be, we'll send you an email. We'll send you whatever. Oh God, we have written. We'll write you mega email. All of us will join.
And then we send messages at different times.
At different times of the day. We coordinated. It was it was like, oh, don't worry, you're not talking to us, but we were talking to you. Whether it's to reach, it reached to send smoke signals. We was like, whatever it is, if you block us everywhere, you block us, email will work. If it doesn't work, we'll send somebody. That's how far we go. We send sending people that you are still talking to. Right.
Yeah.
you were more important to us than whatever pride we felt, right? It would have been easy for 5 people to say, so one person is gone. We're good. But I think that's the foundation of it, right? We have had different times when maybe 2 people within the group are fighting. You know, like, okay, when you are ready, don't see yourself, we'll know that it's like you shall sort it out. But it's the thing about when I was a child, I felt like a child, I acted like a child. Now that I'm grown, I put my childish ways behind me. In the beauty of our friendship is the growth we experienced with each other. The older we got, the wiser we got, the more mature we became. And certain things were no longer a going concern for us.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, you could see that as we have grown, our friendship has grown as well.
Yeah.
So now we have conversations. Before it gets to anything, say, oh, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I feel. And then we can address it. But yeah, I mean, Sabina.
I think Ellen has really sort of described how we've managed issues. I don't know what best I can actually answer that. I think the foundation has been the most important thing, and the connection that we all have is our love for Christ. The fact that you have friends who can pray with you and for you without you requesting. I even remember that we actually got together and had a prayer session for one of these events where we were in a moment where somebody was fighting with us. And we did pray and said, you know what, Father Lord, this person, please, touch their hearts. Help us to also be better friends to this person. So the common factor in all of this is God. And I think if God is always at the center of anything that you do, it would always blossom.
Yeah.
So I think that's what is responsible for keeping us where we're at today. Because even me and Ellen sitting here, there are things that Ellen doesn't like. There are things that I don't like, right? And I think the beauty is that we're always able to say, Ellen, this thing that you're doing, I don't like it. I don't think that this thing you're doing makes me happy or anything like that. And Ellen is able to say, Sabina, you can't, we're able to get to that point with each other, but we're able to see that it's not about how the person is reacting or what the person is saying or not saying, right? It's knowing the core of the person's heart.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, I know that my friends are not interested in hurting me.
Yeah.
So no matter what they do, I would feel hurt in that moment. I would feel hurt when I think about it. But in the long run, I know that there is love for me in this person's heart. So it's the person is acting, to the best of their understanding at the moment, and I'm reacting to the best of my knowledge at that moment. So I think for me, there is that knowledge that we love each other.
Yeah.
Like there's times where we don't even talk for weeks, and we just know that
there's more here than
good.
there's not.
Exactly. We're good, we're fine, right? And that has sort of transitioned. I remember there was a time I felt, and I'm going to say this for the first time, there was a time I felt, distance.
Why are you doing confession? Why are you doing confession here?
There was a time I felt, sort of, distant. And I remember having a conversation with Shema and saying that, this is how I feel at the moment. I don't know if it's a right feeling or what I feel. What do you think? Do you think that, I'm okay to feel this way? And Shema's response to me was, they are your friends and have seen how much you love each other. So I would say that you are overreacting, thinking the way you're thinking. So for my husband to start telling me that,
shout out to my SS.
my husband started telling me that, your friends love you, right? And I think that you all have so much love for each other. I think that's, that was me realizing that, even on the outside, like he's not in any of our, I don't think we have any, okay, we now do, but it's not really, but we don't have any, sort of tight, we don't have a group chat with all of our spouses or anything like that, right? But so it's not like it's just what he sees, conversations he hears when we visit each other, and that's just all his experience. So for him to know that there is love, right? I think that's it's clear.
Yes, I
That's-
can see it.
And anyone knows that these people love each other.
Just out of curiosity, did you have to tell your spouse that I have this group of friends? Did you have to lecture him or talk to him about? I just feel like, was there something about? Did he know?
I've
Nothing.
never had to. So I think my spouse, my spouse is a separate. It's a different conversation because, like, I went through a period where my friends were like my biggest support system to finding myself, right? I was not looking for my spouse, to my spouse finding me.
So just say having good friends, you can find
So
and then he's done with me.
I think that I can't remember the first time. I'm thinking the first time he met was in the Mopsy's house in with Titi and I'm trying to. I think that's the first. Was that the first time he met? I think that's the first time he met everyone. Actually, we're going to Titi's house, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring him. And you guys will meet him here. That's how everyone met him. And I think for everyone at the time, I don't think that they were sure that it was him. I think it was.
No, we were sort of. We
Okay.
actually not even sort of. We were.
But before you met him, because it was like an out of nowhere thing.
Yeah, it was an out of definitely it was an out of nowhere
It was
thing.
an out of nowhere
But the truth is, knowing you, that was the only way we knew that it was going to be sure, right? There's like we know you enough to know that Sabina, you could do all your dilly dallings, but when you have a strong conviction, you're clear on your convictions.
Yeah.
This was the one person you had, like from the get go, you had the clearest conviction.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it wasn't. Why we also trusted it was because it was different from every other thing before. So there was a clear that this person has been, what do you call it, shadows. And then now the real thing has come.
Yeah.
So there was we didn't even need to meet him, but there's a way your friend will talk about something that you're like,
This is
it.
different.
Okay.
This is different.
Okay.
So it wasn't, it was also this is the strongest conviction. And more or anything, it was the peace. This was what had brought you peace. So we had seen you go through so much with not a lot of peace.
Yeah.
And then to meet this person that you sat down with peace.
Yeah.
It was like confirming, like when you said it, our spirits also felt at rest.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we can see the
Yeah.
tail signs of God.
I feel like you guys are saying so
much.
much.
I think yeah. So I understand, and I think I understand, right? Or let me say, I do understand actually, but because they all asked me, it was like everybody had this, and this was how I felt at the time. Like everybody had this.
Are you sure?
Let me ask Sabina how she knows. So everybody individually came to me to say, Sabina, you're saying this, because the way I told them actually that there's somebody. I wrote a long message, I can remember, and I posted it on the WhatsApp group. That's how I told them.
I'm from nowhere. Like, you see the way she said from nowhere? It was literally from nowhere. And when it was almost like we had to. I remember then, I think Titi also calling me like, "What's Sabina talking about?" And I'm like, I have no idea what Sabina is talking about. And then we go on like, and then I think then I was living with Titi, so we people were like, "Sorry, what's going on?" And it was like this. Where does this girl come up with these things from? Because I wonder, like, what is going on here? Like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And it was the strongest conviction. It was like you people just need to get with the program and move ahead. So I need you to catch up. So this is your catch up text. Like, just get with the program. But yeah.
I think that was even like maybe 2 weeks after.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 weeks after I met him. Yeah. Me and my husband started dating 1 week after we met each other.
But it's beautiful to see. But
Yeah.
one other thing that has another recurring topic name per se is Titi. And personally, I would say that I cannot imagine how life with Titi was with you guys, because from the little that I know, and then break up. Titi almost carried hammer for me to break somebody's head. She was that sweet and nice to me. She was like, Ella, where's his address? Just give me his address, I'll be there. And I know that one of the things that I always wanted to do was to celebrate, just even for the little that I celebrate Titi in her awesomeness, while she was alive and all of those things, right? So, I'd like you guys to talk about.
Sure. I mean, I think we could talk about it in two parts, right? We could say all these wonderful things about how she was a key part of this friendship.
Yeah.
I jokingly say she was the last person I became friends with. So, like Sabina said, we were all friends individually in different spaces. I was friends with Demi, I was friends with Romy, and I was friends with Wendy because Wendy was my roommate. Romola was my friend, Demi was my friend. Then I became friends with Sabina, and it seemed like Titi was a follow come from somewhere. And I think I can be a bit stubborn about people where I'm like, you can't force me to be friends with a person. So I remember the first time, I felt like Titi was really trying, like, I'm friends with everybody. Why am I not friends with this girl? So then I used to give her like, hey, no, we're not going to be friends. I don't know you like that. But Titi grows on you. Titi grows on you, and then you can't shake out, And when Titi wants to be your friend, you have lost already. There's really nothing you can do. And next thing, I found myself being friends with this person that I thought I would never be friends with. So she was literally the last person, but grew to be one of my dearest friends forever. I would maybe, I mean, I could also let Sabina speak a bit more about Titi, but I also wanted to highlight that losing Titi did something for us in our friendship, right? I think it woke us up, made us stronger, and at the same time, it's almost like in the world right now, we feel like there are not a lot of people who hold Titi as we do. So in a sense, it's like I can't lose these people because Titi exists in here, right? Somewhere. And it's just impossible to let that go. So losing a friend as a collective, I remember the early days. I knew that nobody in this world, when you feel like nobody knows how you feel, but then you realize that there are 4 other people who know exactly how you feel. So in a way, it was almost like there was like, oh, I feel all this pain, but I can be assured that there are 4 other people who feel exactly how I feel. So it's a shared grief. It's a very known knowledge of this grief is shared, and we share it heavily. So that period, I remember there was a lot of things that it was extremely hard, but also easy for us because it was like,
you're not alone.
We're not alone, right? And recently one of us went through something, and I remember being there for her made it easier because Sabina was there. So it was like we were there, and it just made it easier to have someone else who knows, that this person is as invested in this person as I am invested in this person. So there's just something about that shared grief, that shared responsibility that I think this has really been, or having this friendship has really been helpful.
What's better than one good friend?
For more. Like she said, I think one thing I'll say about Titi is that Titi was the most intentional person that I knew. And why I believe that we felt, losing Titi was a wake-up call in our friendship was because a lot of the fun stuff you see us do was planned and orchestrated by Titi. Trip to wherever, Titi comes up with the itinerary, comes up with a list of things to pack.
Yes.
Ashwebi is definitely Titi because even for my wedding intro,
yes,
Titi was the one that came up with
the Ashwebi for intro.
Found the tailor that would make
everybody.
And I got my own part of the Ashwebi as well, even though
as a bride.
So Titi is very intentional, And you don't lose someone like Titi and stay the same.
Mm.
I don't think anyone would have understood, no matter how close you were to Titi, I don't think anyone would have understood who Titi was to us. Like, because, Titi, she's not, she has a lot of friends, but in terms of like her chosen friendships, like
Yeah.
these are the people that I want to be with, right?
Yeah.
She's very protective of that space. And when they say someone will carry your matter on their head, she literally carries our matters on our head. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't have, amongst all of us, that doesn't have like very significant TT stories. And that for us was no one else can really fill this void, regardless of how we try. There's some conversations we're currently having right now. And it's interesting to know that Titi had already even planned something related to this conversation. And if Titi was here today, I can tell you for free that where we are in that conversation
Oh God,
would have been advanced.
would have advanced really far.
So it's almost like there is a pause to our lives. Not really a pause, but like, the pace at which we would have moved that in doing certain things is not there. We're still doing them, but it's not as fast as we would have done them. And there is also that realization, and it's like we can't let this person down. So we are conscious and grateful for that experience that we had. I think that's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And I think for us it was new. It was difficult, and just navigating that, it was great that I had them. Like they were the only ones that could understand what I was going through. They were the only ones that could feel my tears, my pain. Like it was I think I'll say that it was divine comfort or divine support, because there was nothing else, that could explain how I felt, or nobody else could understand it except them. And it was good to see that someone else was feeling exactly the way, expressing it in different forms. And I mean, I think I can't say that we've fully grieved. We still, I don't think there's any week or any day that we don't actually think about it. And randomly, you just see someone, talk about it, and it's like, oh yeah, yesterday that's how I felt. Oh, I was literally thinking about it this morning. And we still have that as we go along.
We literally had one last week.
So I mean, we still have that as we go along, and that has significantly helped us. I mean, anyone that's lost knows that you don't ever get over it, but having the right support system go through it with you and feel that void and pain is great.
Thank you for sharing. I really don't have the words to be honest, but I know that just having a memory should be a very beautiful thing for us. Just knowing that she worked on this is very beautiful. But yeah.
There's one thing that we all collectively agreed on when Titi passed, which was there was a lot of gratitude.
Oh yeah.
There was this deep gratitude that one, we got to experience her and we had the opportunity. We grieved for what could have been, but there was more thanksgiving for what was.
Yeah.
And it takes a special person to live in a way that there is a lot of gratitude when you transition because of how much you have transformed or contributed or changed people's lives. So I don't think of Titi and always get filled with sadness. You know, it's usually this strong to have intentionally placed this person in my path. That of all the ways my life could have turned out, I like this version that got to meet this person and build a friendship with this person and get to be friends with this person till the very end. And in a way, be able to still carry this person with me as I go through life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think, will I ever forget her? Will I ever? But when this happened at the beginning, I kept thinking, would there ever be a time when I'll forget? And now I realize it can't be. It just can't be that there will ever be a time when you forget this person or any of that. But it's beautiful. It's also just beautiful to see my friends all grow and transition, become wives, become mothers, leave the country, but yet still hold this special space in our hearts, I might not, Wendy is on a different time zone. I might not speak to her for weeks in a month. I might just chat here and there, check in here and there. But Wendy will show up in Nigeria and I know that my entire schedule has changed because it's just all about this person, right? And it's same thing. It's how Sabina and I could not, not talk, but all I need is that call. Are you at home? Yes, and then my whole day shifts, and then there's just Sabina there, my sitting room. But it's just how we have grown and we have priorities and we have all other things. But and without a doubt that if I am ever in a place where I need my friends, these people would drop whatever it is that are similarly priorities and rally round to say, we're here for you. What do you need? How can we be there? And it's a deep knowing. So it's not a card that I would misuse, but it's a card that I know that I have.
Yeah.
So if I'm ever back against the wall, I know that these are the people who I can come with my shame and everything and say, guys, this is what it is. And they would say, we would speak sense to you later, but right now let's cross this hurdle. But then we will still have the conversation. There will be a boardroom upon your head. But before we sit that, we need to fix it. And that's a deep assurance and knowing that I have with these people. There's something you said at the beginning that I really like, where you said you're seeing that this friendship is turning into a community. And it's so true. It's how Sabina's husband is a part of this. I'm friends with Wendy's husband. Demi's husband is a part of this. Demi's husband's friends, aka Atache, Toby, and Renee, are also a part of this. And then you think of an Iruka, you think of a Kemi or Nabanjo, you think that there is the community and it expands. That if there's a thing, you'll find the same people, the same faces. Do you get? And you find that there are just these people who are there. So, we've had a sleepover before where we had spouses, everybody, just one large sleepover in our big adult age, with children. We still all said, you know what, let's have a sleepover where we were watching movies, gisting till 5 a.m. People's mothers and fathers. But it was just good to see that, like you said, the friendship has built into a community. And now there's this community of people who are really doing life or looking out for each other and are there for each other. And
and also by that way, your kids, right?
Yes.
Because for me, it's also
they must be friends.
yes, and you are not worried about who your kids are playing with, because one way or the other, you're also training them, and you can see that they will also have shared values to an extent, right? Obviously, they'll grow up to have their own type of friends, in addition to the ones that you've originally given to them. But again, that's why we're doing this. I think the word out there is good community is necessary, especially in this day and age. When you have neighbors and you're not sure of your neighbor, but you have so much that you need to do and you want to drop your kids and you're thinking, if I drop my kids, then will I come back to see a different individual? I'll see a better child. But just having that community, like Ellen, everyone's trying to drag you over here. So
they will not succeed.
Sabina just did something really simple today. Oh, come and carry your child. That community. Well, you know that your child is fine. Right? You're not having that doubt of, again, so thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. But one last question, just to play with your heads. Ellen, what's Sabina's shoe size?
What's that? What's that? I know this. It's a 3940.
So it was 39 and then 40 after I had.
I had a child. Yeah, that's what I said, 39, 40. I did that, but I know it.
Yeah, so Ellen is actually, I think you're the first person to have gotten me a shoe.
Yes.
Yes. Like amongst
One extra one. What would you think Sabina would like to wear? You know, is it suits, comfort dresses?
Comfort dresses. I haven't met her. Comfort dresses. All the way. Yeah.
Sabina, what's favorite food?
That's good.
That's very difficult.
So that's the right answer. And it doesn't really have. Because I guess mine is very silly.
Just ask it. Say it here. Say it here so that we know. No, say it. This is the last. You have an opportunity. What is it?
Have you ever met a guy that Ellen has been that you're like, no, but Ellen refused
Wow! Recently, yeah, Wendy.
We still talked about it last
No, the conversation was that I have discernment about people, but not when it comes to myself. Because we're talking about people who have a radar.
I saw something on social media, and it said that there are some people that have a very good radar for bullshit, right? And I said this, and I said there are two people in this people that has that. I'm not going to mention names. And Wendy came and admitted she was one of them.
Oh no, we all agree. Wendy has
everybody agreed.
Sharp.
I think you stand.
Yeah,
because,
Wendy does.
I mean, to be honest, the only man in my life that Wendy ever accepted was my husband.
And you married him.
And I married him. And Ellen comes and says, no, she has and everybody was like,
I said I also have. I took the second spot. I only said I'm the second person. Then you people being the people you are, decided to come out and say, well, no, but people agreed with me. You said that I do have
for
it.
other people, but
Not
not
for
for
other
yourself.
people, but not for myself. But the Lord has redeemed me.
So,
Lord has redeemed me. Yeah.
but
see
His
clearly.
grace has us to help us see the bullshit.
Wow.
No, but they do. They do.
Yeah.
They do. Wendy is actually the chief of that. Wendy has literally will see somebody coming to ask for my number and come and drag me and say she's above your time. Like literally, no, this is a true story. Like Wendy has seen me at the wedding and then we're talking and this guy has been trying to talk to me since. And then Wendy literally comes, looks at him and says, she's above you. And then she just pulls me away. And then she's really going like, why are you talking to her? I'm like, Wendy, yeah, he has not even said anything. She's like, there's no need. There's no need. No, Wendy is on point. She's a little fighter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now you guys see why having them here is a blessing and an honor as well. Thank you guys so much for blessing my
Thank you for having us.
Yes, in every other person. It's very possible to be in different individuals and have similar interests and values as well. I don't think it's also too late for anybody to start building that community or that friendship. You can be intentional about it, you cannot be. Ellen has shared about how she met Titi and she was like, no, I know agree, but eventually, Titi became like the best thing that happened to her. I also think that we should build intentional and good friendship / community. And one way to do that is look out for people who want to ensure that you grow and make you stronger. And taking this from all of the things that they said, group of people who are ready to work through life with you, and that is in the bad, in the good, in the ugly. You are telling your friend that you've done the worst thing, and your friend really doesn't see you for that worst. I was telling my friend the other day when something happened to me, and I said, I did this. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm like, is it possible? That kind of, friendship, shared interests and values, you said that, similar goals, and then just talking about follow up. Maybe I'm just going to call out everybody, all my friends who don't follow up. God. Yes, God at the center. But before we talk about God at the center, checking up on people is very important and very vital.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know when people are going through. Some people don't want to show or be vulnerable to an extent, but just knowing that you are there eventually they will open up and trust that you're there for them. So checking up on people, you know that you like this person, you want this person to be your friend in your circle, you want to be in that person's circle. It's okay to just be there for that person. And I think that Sabina sort of crowned it all at some point when she talked about God being the center. You know, when they have quarrels, misunderstanding, there's that one person that you know that is the reason for why you're doing all of this, and which is Jesus Christ, right? Just having Jesus as a foundation. So yes, we're also preaching godly friendship and community. But create that friendship today, that community. I cannot overemphasize it, right? Yes, it's been an awesome maybe 5 hours talking to you guys.
Wow.
But thank you all, and I'm sure that you're blessed. If this video has blessed you, please share,
Like,
subscribe.
and leave the comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But yes, you don't know who this will help, but do not keep it to yourself.
And pray for your friends and
Yes.
reach out to that friend, whoever comes to mind as you're watching this. Other friends are not here. Demi, Ramola, Wendy, Titi, we love you.
And
First 5,
and their
banana
spouses
potato.
and attach- that part to be there, promise.
First 5 plus 1.
Yes.